Now, usually I don't do this, but go ahead on, break them off with a little previews of the remix. Now, I'm not trying to be rude, but hey, pretty girl, I'm feeling you. The way you do the things you do reminds me of mine.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy Sunday, Monday, or whatever the fuck it is you're listening to this. Welcome to another edition of the Sapiosexual podcast.
Welcome, guys.
I'm your host, Eric, the number ass crunching dude.
And I'm Kain.
Kain.
That's all I got for you.
Kain. It's been real serious today. Kain. So how's your week been, man?
Yeah, pretty good. Same old sort of shit. Cracking along. Living my life as an unemployed man. It's fucking fantastic, man.
He's on government sponsorship at the moment. So...
I'm not even on the government sponsorship yet. I haven't
really?
scammed them yet, but that's my next step. Yeah.
Gee.
Get on the DL.
You're a good citizen.
Yeah. We're good citizens so far, man. But we all need crack at some point, man.
Citizen Kain. Kain.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with a little story happened to me. So I was out in I think it was Chippendale the other day. Great suburb full of excellent people.
Tis.
A lot of lifestyle, a lot of things going on.
Yeah. A lot of blue hair.
There was a few blue hairs. It wasn't too on that level, but there was definitely some blue hair involved.
All right.
And I went out at a bar, had a few drinks, and it's like getting a bit late, and I was like driving home. And then I noticed that like this place is closing at 3:00, and it was like next to a backpackers place. So there's a lot of people from the UK.
Okay.
So people are looking to like basically fuck each other, like you know. So that's
okay, yeah.
That's the point of the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's at that point in life.
Yeah,
anyone will do. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and everyone was just fucking smashed. I went to the toilet, and then there was like this English guy there. He's like really short. Like, you know, I'm talking about a manlet, bro. He's like 5'4", right? He's a fucking little shit.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, "Hey, bro, you from England?" He goes like, "Well, yeah, I'm from England." And there's this guy's like, "Yeah, bro, why would you be there? Eh? Like, it's so much better here." And the guy's like getting pissed off.
Yeah. And
then he's just like, "Oh, look, you know, I'll put my nose bone for your head." I'm like, "What?" And this other guy's looking at me, making eye contact with me. I'm like, I know what this guy's talking about, bro. It's just weird. And then I see this guy scurry out of the toilet, and he just like sort of barges past him. He's fucking doing coke, man.
Oh,
and then
shit.
As he's like barging through, he drops some like money on the floor, like his note to like sniff up drugs with, and he gets piss all over him. I'm like, oh, it's so gross. He like scurries it up and like goes to the bathroom. Anyway, so then it comes out, and like I'm just sitting with my mate, we're having a drink, and we're just sort of like watching, and we're kind of observing like the place wrap up.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and then like I noticed this guy sitting in the corner, like he's with his mate, and like they're drinking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There are people that were trying to avoid each other in the bathroom, but obviously they were like both doing drugs. They didn't want to like let everyone else know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just noticing that their atmosphere as it sort of like wraps up the night, you know, like everyone's trying to hook up with each other, bro. Like it's like this frantic like. You could sit there and people it was so much fun just to people watch, right? Had this one chick come over to me. She like puts a drink on the table. This like slams it down.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oi!" And just like pushes me the arm. I'm like, yeah. She's like, just walks off. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And she comes back again. She's like, "Oi!" And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, and she just walks off again. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
She wants a D.
Yeah, she wants a D. But I was like, dude, she's like 40. And she looks like she just absolutely stunk a grog, man.
Well, you know, they're the ones who need it most, man.
They do, man.
Just gotta, do one for society.
But like the lights are slowly dimming on, right?
Yeah.
So then I look over and there's this chick, this fucking tall ass bitch, right? So she's like double the size as 5'5" girl, right?
Yeah.
She's walking around just stumbling into fucking people and it's like causing a scene, man. I'm like, what's she doing? But she's just trying to like bump into guys to get like an attention thing.
Yeah, it's getting.
So then this like hot chick was like talking to these two guys, and then she comes past, just fucking his elbows into them, and then both the guys don't notice him. But the chick's just like getting all freaked out, and I see her like she literally just doing circles around the room, just trying to like attract anything she can. And then she latches on to that like guy that was coked up, and she's like talking to him, and then she's like sitting at the table, and there's two guys, and this guy's like half his size, is getting all awkward about it, and she's there just like grinning on and like trying to get it going, and then the lights turn on, and like everyone can see each other, and they're like kind of like horrified looking at it, like oh shit, what have we done? And like stuck in this conversation.
Well, I think that's
the
point. The point is you need to be. Yeah, well, the idea is that you need to be drunk enough that when the lights turn on, and if you're one of the last desperate cunts in the room, like you need to be inebriated enough that you,
exactly,
you don't notice. But that actually mirrors my experience in practically any club if you stay towards the end.
That's what I'm saying.
So some like desperate people, but like I think it's It's exacerbated when they're like fucking 40. Like,
they're 40 and they're
here?
drunk.
Like 40.
Yeah. But I just felt like there was this cling to like, oh, I'm still good looking. Like, oh, I can still get this thing going. You know what I mean? I can still make it happen. But it's just like, everyone's like, nah, we don't want to borrow you, man. You're fucking pissed, dude.
Dude. Disgusting. What was the name of that place, though? Asking for a Mate.
Oh, Asking for a Mate. Dude, oh shit. Give me a second. Lansdowne? No.
Lansdowne?
Look, I'm not going to say the name. I can't remember it right now, but...
It's for privacy purposes, that's why. Purposely withholding information.
No, I'm not. I literally can't remember it. I literally couldn't give a fuck what it is. But it's basically one of those places where it's like full of like creative people, independent people, man, you know?
Yeah, man.
Really like free-thinking people.
Yeah.
Progressives.
That's why it's more fucked up than what I remember. But I still remember, like, even if you just go to a normal club like Pontoon or Darling Harbour, you just towards the end of the night, they just be like, "Oh, where have you been? I've been looking at you all night." You're like, "No, I'm not that fucked up."
Not that good.
Goodness.
Yeah,
that was a moment.
So yeah, that was my moment of the week, I guess. I wanted to bring up our quick UFC rundown.
The
Ultimate
agenda.
Fucking Championship.
Alright, now we're on with the agenda of the day.
Yeah. So just a quick story of all I got for this week is just Georges St. Pierre, aka GSP is his name. It's a French Canadian guy.
I'll fuck your wife. Come over here, yeah, we'll hang out, I'll fuck your wife.
I'll fuck your wife and you can watch me fuck your wife.
Get him in the corner and watch. Yes, GSP, please.
Please fuck my wife. Yes. You'll be impressed by my performance while I fuck your wife.
You like my performance? Hold the belt. You can hold my belt. Like, yes, GSP. I'll be in your corner. I'll be in your corner, man. Corner of your bed.
Corner of your bedroom. You pump my wife.
Oh man, you'll be in his corner in between rounds. He's like fucking sweating. You're just like pouring water in his mouth.
Alright, man, that was a good round.
That's a good round, man. You gotta finish it this time.
I need my water. Okay.
This is it. Going for the knockout finish. It's time to finish. Go for the headshot. Oh shit.
But yeah, just funny. Enough story about him is he's retiring from mixed martial arts. So one of the most dominant middleweight champions. Really kind of vanilla-y sort of guy, like on the surface. Like you're just like, oh hey, my name's
just seems like a nice guy. Like
he is.
The joke is that he'll fuck your wife, but there's no actual evidence to indicate that he would fuck someone else as well.
There is no evidence.
He's a nice guy.
He is a good dude.
You know what I like about him? He got his first martial art was Kyokushin karate, which is like a pretty. If you do it properly, the proper traditional Kyokushin. It's a rough karate. A lot of like the body conditioning that they do is really similar to Muay Thai.
They punch and kick each other.
Constantly kicking each other in the legs, just fucking conditioning the body. It is a decent base. I mean, in modern times, everyone kind of shits all over karate, but we forget that man, you had GSP started in karate. You had Lyoto Machida who like really used karate as well. So, yeah. It's sad days.
It is a sad day, man. Yeah. But yeah, he goes down as one of the most successful welterweight champions and also middleweight champions. So one of the greatest in MMA. Interesting story. I saw him at Star City Casino.
I remember that night.
Yeah.
I remember that.
My friend Tom and I and one of his mates as well. We went and saw him. Really interesting. He just broke down his fights.
Newtown Tom.
Newtown Tom, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Newtown Tom. Thanks for listening, Tom. So yeah, we went and saw him at the Star City Casino.
Yeah.
And really interesting night. Broke down his fights, his life, his struggles. You know, one of those like inspirational type things. We get to like learn about him. But it's also what's interesting about GSP is that he's had a lot of head trauma. So he thought he got abducted by aliens.
Really?
Yeah, you don't know this?
No. Tell me about this. Lay it on me.
Oh, I don't know the full specifics, but essentially like he believes in aliens, and he had these like moments in time where it's just blanked out. I can't remember what happened. It's like, yeah, because you got fucking punched in the head like 600 times plus, man.
It just reminds you that mixed martial arts or martial arts is a great thing to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, you would want everybody to learn martial arts.
Learn,
but it's
not get
a
the head trauma.
terrible sport to be part of. I mean, as much as we love watching it, it just fucks with your head, dude.
Well, like professionally, I'd say like on an amateur scale, if you understand damage and you have the ability to understand what...
when to quit.
Yeah, you know how you can take stuff. Yeah, you can, but if you're a fucking idiot...
Yeah.
No, it's a horrible sport.
Yeah,
it's why when we do it's interesting, I do the some MMA classes out in, I told you with Rob Whittaker's gym in our previous podcast, we don't focus on punching. It's just like striking, and then there's no contact with punches. But it's wrestling. So it's everything that you learn about mixed martial arts without getting hit in the head 5 billion times. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you would want everyone you know to learn. I mean, when you have kids as well, they got to learn this shit. It's good for you.
That's why one base like taekwondo or jiu-jitsu or karate is a really good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, just to digress. So he thinks he's got abducted by aliens. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So he's kind of kept on the down low. He kind of downplays it.
The aliens told me to fuck you up. Hold my belt.
Hold my belt while I fuck you up.
The aliens are watching.
Put the bandana on my head and watch me fuck you up.
Here's my Karate Kid bandana. Tie it around my head. Jokushin. Oh wow.
But one of the
legend.
One funny story though, is quickly at the that we saw at Star City was, so he talked about this big inspirational thing, all these amazing things in my life and all that sort of stuff, right? And then he went on to the topic where like people could ask questions, and then one of the kids went up and was like, GS, he's like 8 years old. He goes, I'm learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's like parents there and stuff, and I wanted to know, like, should I learn more about striking or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Like, what's good to learn? And then, like, he was like, oh, that's a good question. Like, little kids, like, trying to be like him.
Yeah.
And then, like, GSP goes, one thing I must tell you is learning the martial arts is good, but, in your life, anyone could die at any moment. You could be driving along and then a car hits you and then you die. It's like, yeah, bro, like great advice, but this kid's like 8 years old, man.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what was he? Did he get to a point with that?
No, he's like, oh, you must stay in school and learn and focus on what is important. It's just like, come on, bro.
God.
Like,
I think what he did was he basically, in a roundabout way, was discouraging from doing martial arts.
He was.
He was trying to. I think he was trying to say that, like, okay, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but like life is dangerous enough.
Life is dangerous enough.
Why focus on martial
arts? Yeah, that's
enough?
what he was saying.
Yeah.
But it's just so comedic how he came up to this like 8-year-old kid. It's just like, yeah, you could die any moment, man.
Did you read the room though? Did you read everyone's eyes? Did you read the room? Was anyone else going? What?
Me and Tom were having a laugh about it, bro. A few people who were into that humor just saw it as that. Everyone else was like, "Oh, that was good answer." I was like, "Bro, you just fucking said, basically brought up like death and how you can die any moment to an 8-year-old child."
Like, should I learn Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu? Like,
you're gonna die. Everyone's gonna die.
Go to school because you never know. I might flick your mum. Hold my belt. Alrighty, well that's GSP.
Yeah.
So recently on the weekend, I got recommended by a friend to watch this. I mean, I knew something of the story, but for people out there who may or may not have heard of Fyre Festival.
Yep.
Fyre Festival is this ultimate disaster. Like, I watched this Netflix documentary. It was Fyre Festival, the greatest festival that never happened, or the greatest party that never happened, and it was just a fantastic sort of expose on delusional entrepreneurs. It's delusional business making, but it's also about like this guy. So it was founded by the company Fyre was founded by Billy McFarland, and he was sort of partnered with Ja Rule, who we all know is the least relevant hip hop artist of
Hang
the
on,
decade.
this person you ask when like September 11 attacks happen, you go, where's Ja?
Where is Ja? Let's cut to Ja Rule.
It's here. It's hot thoughts right now.
Well, the important thing is he fought the fuck back. Anyway,
he's just Tupac. Not the game.
Anyway, so Billy McFarland's this entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's not well known what. Well, actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
What his financial background is in terms of how much money he started off with, but I do know that he did have a successful business venture before Fyre, which is called Magnesis, and Magnesis was an example of how to use viral marketing, how to use social sort of influence or influencers, and create this culture of exclusivity. So what Magnesis was this metal black credit card that would open up like access to all these benefits. So I mean, you might have heard of like Amex's black card, which is like this titanium card which gives you like 24/7 concierge service, exclusive shit. Like you can just get on the phone with a personal concierge and go, book this shit for me by this time.
Look,
so they wanted to do the same thing, and just creating, like, it snowballed. Like, this guy is brilliant at convincing people this is something that's gonna be great. Like, he is good at selling a vision. So Magnesis was great because he would hold all these parties and it was really going off. He had this great events manager. He's the one who eventually helped him with the Fyre Festival as well, and really showcasing this guy's very specific skills. The documentary, though, in the end, I mean, it was a disaster of planning. It was a total delusion. But it highlighted that when you have this one skill at selling a vision, you can convince so many people. He convinced all these venture capitalists to give him millions of dollars to bankroll this thing, for over 6 months when it was clear this was going to be a train wreck.
Yeah.
It was just an example of, you can't just have one skill. Like, you have to be real with yourself, right? So anyway, let's get back to the summary of this.
But it's also selling the hype.
It was. So, I mean, it all started off with the whole Fyre Festival thing. They spent millions of dollars bringing, like, I think it was like 19 or a couple dozen of, like, the world's top models. Paid them ludicrous amounts of money to come down to an abandoned island in the Bahamas, Pablo Escobar's island. And they hired one of the best marketing agencies in New York. They brought him down, just videotaping this crazy party they were having. I mean, this was meant to be planning sessions and whatnot, and they're just sitting there having a mad party. I mean, it was really great, though, and it sold this idea of this exclusive festival.
You sold the feeling, and people want to buy the feeling.
Exactly, and I mean, it started off great because that went viral. Everyone was like, what is this thing? It's going to happen, right?
I heard about it, like, just to give my insight onto it, like, I heard about it when it was actually coming.
Yeah.
And sort of social media and the videos, the promos. Yeah. When it was coming, I was like, wow, Ja Rule's involved in this thing. Yeah. This festival sounds pretty cool. Like, you fly out to an island and hang out. Like,
well, the funny thing is,
looks cool, right?
Right from the get-go, when there was this conference they were at, it was like a music festival conference. You had Ja Rule, you had Billy McFarland, and you had one of these workers. He would later become their creative director. I don't remember his name at the moment.
Yeah.
Their first impression was, these guys are fucking crazy. There's no way this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you normally plan festivals like 24 months in advance, and these guys think they're gonna make it happen in 6 months on one of the most difficult locations you can do it. I mean, when you do Coachella in like LA or something, or when you do Coachella, it's like that's already almost impossible to pull off. It's so unlikely. People are underestimating just how unlikely it is you can pull off a festival so big, even in a place that has all the infrastructure and all the planning in place. So from the get-go, there were some people who thought, this is delusional, man. But that viral marketing got people convinced that maybe these guys are real, man. Like, I mean, you had Bella Hadid and all these other people just partying with them. Real slick influencing. It just looked so good. The marketing was so good.
I saw it. I was like, this looks interesting.
But, like, even from the get-go, I mean, I've said that so many times, but they borrowed $4 million, right? That was the first loan they'd gotten. $4 million on borrowed money, and they'd spent almost all of it just hiring offices in Manhattan, just sitting there just so they can plan out, so they could plan things like, oh, wait a minute, you're spending $4 million of borrowed money, and I mean, you're already just wasting it. They were just constantly wasting money, and I mean, the rest of it is just everything goes downhill. Everything they need, they realize they can't do. They can't get past customs to get food and water in. There's not enough sewage. They actually realized at some point the island could not physically hold as many people as they were. And
sorry, just to explain a bit more what's going on. So there's people that bought the tickets, paid for the experience. They're flown over to this island.
Yes.
And it's just a fucking bunch of sand.
Yeah, dude. Like, so I mean, they sold 10,000 spaces, and some of these things costed hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like the private villas, all this stuff, private jets. It was going to be all these things.
You can have a special tan and mad arrangements, like.
And then from the get go, you got planners saying, "Dude, like this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
There's not enough space on this island." And then to make matters worse, I think it was about 2 months out or 1 month out, the owner of the island kicked them off and said, "No, you can't have this. You can't have this fucking festival on this island," because he told them the condition is you can't tell people this was Pablo Escobar's island. And the very first ad they did said, "Party on Pablo Escobar's island." They're like, "Fuck you guys, you're not having a fucking festival here now." And they ended up having it on like it wasn't even an island. It was just it was a pier. It was a point. The Exuma in the Bahamas, right? And they just photoshopped it to look like it was still an island, but it's actually just a fucking in a peninsula, like a point on a larger island.
Oh, so they didn't actually go to the island?
There was no abandoned island. They were just building it off an established island on the Bahamas. It was so I mean, I don't. This is the tipping point in that is, and I think you remember this when it was on Twitter, was instead of all that gourmet cuisine that they were advertising was going to be there, they don't giving out like fucking chatty little cheese sandwiches. There was no
lettuce and cheese on it. That's it.
There was no lights. Every
water.
single act got cancelled. I mean, not enough water. The beds, like the night before, there was a huge storm, so all the tents got soaked. Everything was fucked. There was at least 400 people who they actually literally had no accommodation for. People just running around. They heard like screaming in the middle of the night. There's like footage of people like screaming in the middle of the night. It's just like anarchy and chaos. And there was a moment that was really funny. Was how the media reacted and how people reacted. There was a bit of there's a bit of glee in watching it all fall apart. And I think it was because the majority of the people were either super rich and or social influencers, media influencers, people who live really great lives. And there was a bit of like the crowd being like a bit tall poppy. We were just so happy to watch them all fall apart, running around like there's no water, there's no food. There was a bit of a glee, and I only heard a little bit of it. I just remember hearing like Ja Rule's festival fucked up. Before I watched this documentary, I was like, oh yeah, Ja Rule had a festival that fucked up. That's all I remembered.
Yeah.
Right, but just watching, I was like, holy shit. But the fact that a guy could keep it going all the way up until the end, this guy actually has a skill. And I would say something about Billy McFarland. Yeah, he's a delusional entrepreneur, but he would probably be one of the best salespeople in the world.
Yeah, he's also getting ass fucked in jail right now.
So he pleaded guilty to one count of wire fraud and a second count to defraud a ticket vendor on October 11, 2018. He's sentenced to 6 years in prison. In prison.
You don't want to go to prison.
You don't want to go to prison, dude. And the best bit was when there's footage of like this. They had like a group wide call for like for the main managers.
I watched the documentary. Yeah.
And they got Ja Rule on. One guy was saying like, what we've done here is we've actually misled, our investors. We've misled our customers. We've sold things that weren't there. To be honest, this is straight up fraud. And Ja Rule was like, I don't think you could call it fraud. It was more like false advertising. And I'm kind of like...
Ja Rule said that?
He said that.
So he knew about this?
Well, this is right. This is the aftermath when it all fucked up. And he was trying to do damage control, saying, let's not give up on this vision. I go, dude, it's fucked up, man. You're still being delusional. Like, he's like, let's not give up this vision. We've got to figure out how we can make this something. I'm like... Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. Billy McFarland's about to go to jail, dude. So that was great. I mean, that happened back in 2017.
Yeah. I just remember everyone just pitchforking Ja Rule, man. Like this for like.
Yeah, but he's a fucking idiot, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not his fault. He was just a hip hop face of the whole thing.
He's had a lot of bad trouble, man. Firstly, it started like back in the day with Eminem dissing him, man. Since that happened, his whole career just fell apart, bro. He was gonna be the new Tupac, not the gay Tupac, the new one, right?
Yeah.
And then after that diss, and then he went to jail for tax evasion for like 4 or 5 years, and he's come back. It hasn't had the same relevance.
It's amazing how many people don't Google. Like, I think you could just Google this. It's like, hey, hey Google, I've just made a fuckload of money.
Yeah.
Like, how much of it should I set aside for income tax?
Exactly.
Well, the problem is they actually do hire a lot of these guys hire accountants. It's the accountants that do dodgy shit on their behalf, or they just feed into this idea that they can keep all their money. They don't have to pay shit. I mean, you remember that episode of Seinfeld, the sniffing accountant? Yeah, that's fucking classic.
You think if he's got a cold or he's actually sniffing?
Yeah. Kramer's trying to convince him to like admit he does drugs. Like, he's feeling good all the time, eh? And he's just like sculling a beer while smoking a cigarette. But that episode was inspired by something that actually happened to Jerry Seinfeld. What happened was his accountant was siphoning off funds.
It's true, yeah.
To pay for his cocaine addiction. So it was like, this shit happens. Like they try to be diligent. They try to hire someone they can trust with their money. And they try to, and then they get fucked over as well. You don't know who to trust.
I have to say with Ja Rule though, I think he's just a dumb fuck.
Yeah, that's probably it.
He did a concert recently, or I think at an NBA halftime game. He's like, "What's up, people? It's me, Ja Rule, yeah!" And everyone's just radio silence.
Yeah, I saw that. yeah. There was a YouTube video. It was like the moment Ja Rule realized he's the least relevant hip hop artist. I was like, and he tried to G him up one more time, and I was like,
everyone's like, no one knows who you are, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's
you
like,
were cool
dude,
20
what
years ago.
Are you like 40? Dude, you're like 40.
One thing I'll just quickly say with Ja Rule as well. 50 Cent, Ja Rule had a show coming up. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
And 50 Cent bought all the tickets out for his show, so there's only like 6 people.
It's just a troll. I read this. He bought out a whole fucking show.
6 people turned up, and he had the rest of the tickets bought out.
Fucking 50 Cent. Oh shit.
So yeah, things aren't going well for Ja these days.
No.
Put it this way.
I wish we could hear from Ja. We need to hear from Ja. Oh goodness.
So next current event we were talking about was the Google.
Well, this is fantastic. I'll give you some background on this. Back in January of 2017, the U.S. Department of Labor sued Google, claiming the company was withholding information relevant to an ongoing compliance order. Now, this is according to The Verge. Now the agency claimed at that point it had found systemic compensation disparities against women pretty much across the entire workforce. This was prompted actually by a class action lawsuit by a couple of women in the company who believed they'd been completely discriminated against. So some feel-good news of 2019 was, in light of all that bad press, Google actually does a fairly almost 91%, over 90% of the staff, they do a study and analysis on pay according to hours worked, qualifications, and the job title. And so what they recently published, what they found out was there is systemic compensation disparity, and it's against men. So they ended up paying around $9.6 million worth of compensation
to men.
What they said was disproportionately to men. So that just made my day. I was like, so basically a bunch of malcontent women. Their worldview completely
was incorrect.
Imagine the cognitive dissonance when they heard that their worldview was completely upside down.
Yeah.
At least in the context of Google.
Yeah.
You know what though? In my experience in the corporate life,
yeah,
that's absolutely true though. I mean, if you're a woman who can present well, you're qualified, and you're willing to work the hours, you will get a good job. I mean, that is the truth. It's just a narrative. But that just made my day.
It is a narrative. You're right.
In the New York Times, they tried to add a caveat to that and say, well, we need to consider whether women are being put into lower roles than they're actually qualified for. I'm like, well,
what for this?
Yeah, they were. Well, because they wanted to offset it and say.
Oh, so they're trying to say that because women have lesser roles, that's why men are.
Yeah. Basically shifting the narrative. They're shifting the paradigm now. They go, okay, it's not that they're getting paid less for the same job. It's because they're getting put into lower jobs than they should have.
Oh, fuck.
And I was thinking, well, even if that were true, it's a free country. It's a free market. You can apply for jobs, right? Just whatever job you want, just apply for it, right? And they've already proven that if you have the same job, they're getting paid more. So how can this still be... They're still trying to shift it to say that, okay, there's still some form of discrimination going here. Okay. It's like, okay, if you're a qualified engineer and you're working as a checkout chick at Woolworths, is that discrimination? Is that evidence of discrimination? No. It's like, you chose that job, you applied for that job, and you chose that job. It's still it's a free country, unless you can show me evidence that women are disproportionately being rejected from jobs that men apply for. I just don't believe that. And then the fact that they've done Google is the most lefty tech organization.
San Francisco, man.
Dude, it's Silicon Valley, man. They all lean left. And so to think that there must be some sort of boys club thing going on there, when
it's obviously not the case.
And they do actually. It's actually impressive because it must be so expensive to do a pay analysis.
What do you mean? How much does it cost?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you do an analysis. You have to bring in consultants, right? I mean, this stuff would cost, to my mind, it must cost at least hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay.
And they do this every year for the sake of equality and whatnot, But it's only now that they're publishing the study because, well, they're having so much bad press, and they're going, well, actually, guys, you're going on about this for 2 years, saying there's this pay discrimination against women, but they've been doing this analysis every year and showing you that
women get paid more.
Women get paid more.
Do you think also, just to break this story down a bit more, like, is it because they're so left leaning and idolize this narrative, trying to go counter to this narrative that they've like pushed up women so much?
Yeah, I think it is, and
what caused the issue?
I think it's what caused the issue. I think what's happened is they're so concerned
about
with
their image.
Yeah, they're so concerned with the pay equality thing, with the image that they've promoted
That's
women
what I'm saying.
to a greater extent. I mean, this is all the thing that James Damore was saying, that they have these free programming classes, they have these engineering classes, and they only make it available to one gender. And he said, well, that's not how you actually it's not how you promote fair. That's not how you promote real equality or real diversity.
Yeah.
You're actually trying to engineer
exactly
an outcome. And actually, at the end of the day, should Google be so surprised? They've been trying so hard to engineer an outcome, and now it's completely swung the other way. I mean, the whole wage gap thing. There's no real evidence to suggest that there's still, a systemic, underpaying of women. I mean, it comes back to it is a conservative talking point, but the truth is, if I could pay 75 cents to the dollar, women versus men, hiring women versus men for the same work, same job, same hours, mate. I mean, I work in finance. If I could save 25% of my staff costs doing that, why the fuck wouldn't I? Why wouldn't you? So I don't get it. How does that reconcile with the idea that we're all a bunch of greedy capitalists? There's a whole bunch of greedy capitalists out there who are just trying to make a buck at any cost. It's like, dude, if there was an easy way out where all I had to do was hire women and save 25% of my costs compared to industry averages, it's well published what the industry averages for each job, for each, in each city even. You can do this. We do this research before we offer roles to people, right? And I can tell you that, at least anecdotally, gender is never a concern. It's like, are you qualified? Are you willing to do the hours? Are you willing to work? That's it. You got the right background and the right personality. That's what we want. And I struggle to see how there's any evidence that there's a systemic pay disparity. But anyway.
Yeah, no. I completely agree with you. I just think, it comes down to, like, is it money or is it opportunity? Like, what side of the coin do they want to present?
Exactly. Because now they're just trying to shift it. They're just trying to say both, confuse you.
Exactly. Both. It's like, it's both things, right?
It's actually now that the pay is actually skewed the other way, it must be the opportunities.
I think it's just this filtering as well, man. Like, it's the whole wage gap thing. Like, if we even break it down to that point, and they say there's we used to be 14 cents per dollar paid discrepancy, and now it's 7 cents. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, when you equate everything out and even it all out for what it is, there's not really one at all.
Well, even if what they're doing actually is just getting the entire population of one gender versus the other one, dividing it by the total earnings. Like, mate, that's just ignoring.
But this is the left-leaning arguments. Like, well, like, because of those things and because I have to have kids, then we shouldn't get paid the same.
This comes back to the old bread will kill you, man. Like, 90% of felonies in the West are caused by someone who ate bread in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
50, a huge percentage of people in jail eat bread. Oh man, bread must be killing you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's stupid. It's statistical. It's misleading you using statistics on purpose. And anyone who's done a course on statistics, either business statistics or any sort of information systems, you learn this really quickly. Like, okay, how is it that you can interpret statistics to suit your narrative, or how is it that you can really try to piece out what it really means? People just gotta be real, man. But anyway, I thought that was just really funny.
It is.
Google, man. Don't be evil, man.
Yeah, don't be evil, man. They're probably listening to this conversation right now.
Well, yeah, man. I got my pixel over there. They're probably listening.
Holy shit.
To listen to. Got like fucking a message coming up from the FBI. Don't fucking move. But that being said, good on Google for instantly responding and also paying men more. It just goes to show they do actually have, a good intention.
A real agenda and
a good intention for equality.
Intention.
Yeah, that told me something. Like, okay, you actually gave people $9.7 million. It's exactly. You actually do believe in fairness, even though you've got a bunch of executives or you've got a culture of left-leaning bias.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that made my day when I read that. Yeah.
True.
Next slapic
we've got is Mr. R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. So has anyone seen that CBS interview with R. Kelly?
Yeah, he's innocent, man.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Well, there's this great documentary. I haven't watched it yet, but it's a huge documentary called Surviving R. Kelly, and it's meant to be real hard hitting. For those of you who don't know, though, there is footage of him from 2004, I think it was 2003. Basically having sex with a minor and pissing on her. Yeah. I don't know how he managed to get away with it when Cardinal George Pell got done over on an eyewitness testimony.
That was 2004. That's the thing. Different time, man. And like, I think the footage was like very VHS-y or something as well. Like, they couldn't work out the ages. I can't remember this.
Yeah. You remember what cameras were back then? I mean, there was.
Yeah, it's not like these days, man. Holy shit!
Yeah,
like,
man.
you do something, man.
It's on.
You're constantly being recorded.
We're living in 1984 in some ways.
Apparently, he's got like a video library of shit he's done. I've
heard that he does.
I just go to the R. Kelly thing. It's really funny. There's I think it's Fat Joe. You know, Fat Joe is like a hip hop artist in New York.
Okay.
Big fat cunt.
Don't know him.
Like he's basically talks about hanging out with R. Kelly, and they were talking about R. Kelly's talking about how he's like a fucking fighter and like he's into like fighting and shit. He's like, oh really? He's like, yeah man, like yeah, like you should check out my footage.
Yeah.
And he went to his like room, like at this house, and he had like thousands and thousands of tapes, and he pulls one out. He goes, oh, watch this.
Yeah.
And he comes out to like, I could believe I can fly. Like, it's a video of him in a boxing match with someone else, right? And he's actually coming out like with like there's not really a crowd there, it's just people there, like him like going out to box. He's gonna fight someone with all these like gloves on and stuff.
Yeah.
And they full play like his music, and he goes in there and just fucking starts this guy and knocks him out. Like it's a complete setup. But he's got his own videotaping of that, and he's showing to people like, yeah man, I'm a fucking champion.
Why, dude? That's what do you? It's narcissism.
Bro, it's narcissism times 10, man. So I wouldn't be surprised he has like, eventually if they like raid his property, man, he's gonna have fucking thousands of tapes.
This is what some of the girls who were part of like living in his mansions were saying. He has this room, and it's the black room where everything in there is black. The drapes, the mattresses, the walls, the furniture, everything's black.
Yeah.
And that's where he lives out all of his most perverted type sexual fantasies, allegedly with underage girls. I mean, the evidence is pretty strong that he's done it. I mean, you know, just for research purposes, I saw that tape back in the day, and just for research. No, but he's fucked in the head.
Yeah.
So anyway, that the highlight of that interview was when he freaked out. Basically, he was like, "Y'all killing me out here, man. Trying to have a relationship with my daughter. This ain't got nothing to do with music. This ain't media." I was like, "That's fucking pathetic, dude." It just cracks me up. I don't know, man. I really enjoy watching people's lives fall apart sometimes. Yeah. I mean, that's why I really enjoyed To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. Just guy's life fall apart. Now, there was an additional video that CNN did on R. Kelly of that interview.
Okay.
And it was all breaking down his body language and how it's so obvious he's lying. I mean, whenever he said, like, she asked him, "Have you ever had sex with an underage girl?" And he just goes, "Absolutely not. Absolutely not." He's just rotating his head like up and down. You know,
saying like yes, but he's trying to like make his body incongruent to what he's saying.
Yeah, he's
I call that mismatching. So like your body language, you're saying something and your body language is doing the opposite. Yeah. It's like it's actually proven in body language. It's like it's your real intention. If you're a shit liar, he's a pretty shit liar.
He's a shit liar, and then they go, "So what? Like, are you trying to say that everybody here is just lying on you right now?" And he just goes, "Yes," and he's shaking his head. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And he's just shaking his head. Yes, they are. And it's almost like he's saying no. It's like code, man. He's just like...
Yeah, it's like, yes, winking at the camera.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't do it.
All I know is, now whenever I listen to his music, it just gives me... It's like a different flavour to it now. It's like, if you listen to that bump and grind, it's like, I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. I'm like, but with who? And how old was she?
Probably
and why isn't it wrong?
Yeah.
The fuck you been up to, R. Kelly?
He also, his lawyer came out and said he's guilty as shit.
Okay, there you go.
And his lawyer said he listened to the lyrics of Ignition originally.
Yeah.
And it was apparently like underage like lyrics, and he was like, "Bro, you can't have any of this in there. It's fucking illegal. So you have to rechange the lyrics."
Really? So the original, the original write-up.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you can't keep any of these lyrics. You have to change them. So you have to like rewrite the song.
That's fucked, man.
One thing I will bring up is an interesting topic about this as well that we've talked about before off podcast.
Yeah.
Is that like, he's definitely done those things. He's a fucking dirty cunt. There's like underage shit that's involved. But a lot of these women, it's interesting, are like overage.
Yeah.
People he's interacted with from the age of they're 18, and they come and live with him, and he's like kind of promising them like contracts in the music industry, and then like next thing you know, he has 3-4 different women that are like supporting him and saying it's all above board, and like they're kind of consensual in that relationship.
Well, yeah.
It's still wrong, and it's emotionally manipulative what he's doing. But that's why like the police have had trouble charging him all this time until recently they've got tapes of abuse. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the contention is they come out publicly saying he's been helping them out, and you know they're helping them with their career. It's all consensual and all the rest. They come out though and they're like they're age 19. And you think, well, how long has this been going on for? Though?
Could have been for years.
That's the contention that some of these girls are saying. The ones who are trying to get him for getting him in trouble charge him is that he does this. He starts them off when they're young. He grooms them, and he only lets them go public when they're of age. It's like, dude,
exactly.
How can they be? They're all on his side at the age of 19. It's not like he recruited them all at age 18. He's had them around. So I mean, Excuse me.
Yeah, he's had them around this time. That's what I'm saying. He's got like a harem or something like you call it. You know what's interesting though? Thinking about like cults or religions. I'm not saying against any religion, but like it's kind of how you start cults and religions, really. Like, you know, you have your little supporters, you get your base, your group,
create your core.
It becomes idolized as its god. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they get invested in the benefit that you're giving them. So that is how the cults work. Is you get people who have bought in. They're buying in.
Right?
And they're in their mind, they think the abuse versus the benefit was worth it. And then they become the preachers. They become the people.
And then these people in the cult go, oh no, like it was consensual, everything was right. Like, do you know what I mean? They buy into what we're talking about as well. They go, this guy's idolized. He is the god, and he's a god. And like 18-year-old women, man, they idolize like, you know, older men. They don't know. They haven't had multiple relationships. He's fucking slept with everything, bro, including the fucking floor, man. He's got a hole in the floor. He's gonna piss in fucking.
Look, man,
this dude's fucking gross.
It's like, you can be in my music video as long as you star in my double anal video.
Ass to mouth, mouth to ass,
ass to ass, anus to anus.
Oh fuck, man.
Oh, Kelly. But anyway, I've watched him freak out during that interview at least 5 times now. And just, it's gold.
It's good. Gold. It's so good, eh?
They actually highlighted the body language of the interviewer, and she's
Oprah Winfrey's best friend, by the way.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, Gail or whatever her name, King. I think.
Okay. Yeah. Was I mean, she doesn't bat an eyelid during this. I mean, her toes are curling upwards with excitement because she just knows this is great TV.
Yeah, it is.
This is good TV.
Yeah.
And even I'm watching going, this is good shit, dude. Just yo, killing me out here, man. Oh man,
Robert Kelly, man.
Kelly.
It's so funny. People have gotten the video and just put some backing tracks over it, and it's literally like Trapped in the Closet.
Yeah,
like his classic hits.
I've seen the interview recut to Ignition, and that just cracks me up. It just like it goes like they've changed all the sequence of the interview just to fit with remix to Ignition, and it's just fucking killing me, man. I'll put that on the to watch list.
Yeah, put it on the watch list. I was just gonna say as well, R. Kelly. It's interesting. We were talking about the whole idolizing him, like he's in a cult, and you know, it's funny. Like, you know, people that have unlimited power and wealth, or like, you know, to some degree, they got all the women, money, the star. You know, they literally become a god. You know? They believe that they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they have this group of people support him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really find that whole concept really intriguing. What I also find fascinating as well is how, you know, the Me Too generation mixed in with the mobile phones and everyone's listening and recording.
That's right.
Has completely fucked all these people's lives, man. And they're like reputations of who they are. Like back in 2004, or whatever it was, you might hear something like, "Oh, Kelly's a dirty cunt," and then someone buys his album's like, "No, fuck off. His music's great."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, then like now it's like, bro, everything on you watch around you is like, this guy's a fucking filthy cunt. You know what I mean?
What I think though is what you've just explained is the upside of it. I mean, we talk about people who are getting ripped on just on an accusation, people losing their careers or getting suspended from unions. This is mainly in America. On, you know, the idea that you should just believe every victim. Well, no, actually, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
There should be evidence.
Yeah.
But in the case where there was a guy where there was strong evidence, but he used power and influence to get away with it, like he was paying people off.
Exactly.
And like a lot of these kids, they're coming from really poor families, and you would think to yourself, well, you would never let your kid be abused just for money. But we've got to be careful here because these people are really poor, really desperate, really ignorant. So yeah, he manages to pay them off. So it's a guy who uses his power and influence to get away with it. I am totally for. Look, the evidence is strong. He needs to get in trouble. I mean, it's that joke. You know, Chris Brown can do no wrong because his music is so fucking good. He just gets away with everything.
Well, yeah, it's not just him. It's like everyone throughout. Like not everyone, but a large majority of these artists, like they're super conflicted. Like they're generally not great. So generally the ones that are in the limelight are not great people. Yeah. But John Lennon, man, he used to beat the fuck out of women, man.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, dude.
I never even knew that.
You wouldn't know that though.
Yeah.
He used to beat the shit out of fucking.
Imagine all the people, bitch.
Yeah, I said imagine, you stupid fuck.
Imagine my elbow in your face.
That's what I'm saying though. You don't see his music getting taken off the shelves. But this is an interesting point as well, because like now, like Spotify tried to remove all his music, and then like other
platforms are trying to like just delete his existence. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if that's the right move. You know.
Well, I suppose it's like we're talking about
The
this.
virtue
This is
signal.
a form of art, and I'm thinking, do you critique the art in isolation to the artist, or does that matter a lot? Does it matter a lot? Because if the song doesn't have themes or doesn't promote any of the bad things he's done.
I think it should be. I think he should still not support the artist, but he should still be able to have his music on the platform, man.
Maybe the music should still be there, or maybe there should be some. I don't know, but the problem is he makes money off it. I mean, do we do this? Yeah, actually, I kind of agree, because the music is outside. He's gonna go to jail. He should go to jail and be punished for his crimes.
Yeah, fucking no.
But the music. Well, it's up to you. It's up to anyone who does it. So I mean, Spotify, everyone else, they own their platforms, radio stations. They're also their own businesses who can make their own business decisions, and if they feel that it would affect them adversely, or even if it's something that we dislike, like virtue signaling, we dislike that, but people have the right to run their businesses how they want. So on that point of view, they do have the freedom to do what they want.
Have the freedom to do it, but I don't know if it's necessarily right to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I suppose from your point of view, if you were running a radio station or you were running Spotify or something like that, or any of the streaming platforms, you would go, no, I mean, the music is separate to the artist. It's just a product that's separate to the
music
person.
is separate to the artist. But what happens is the media makes an uproar about something, and they go, you get a bunch of people saying, you need to remove this person's music right now because there's something they potentially did. Look, I think R. Kelly's guilty as shit.
Yeah.
So,
this motherfucker needs to go to jail.
Yeah, he's so apparent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no judgment here. He's fucking guilty.
He's guilty
as
as
fuck.
sin, right?
He's fucking guilty.
I mean, when we were 13, dude, 14, I think it was. I mean, we saw the evidence with our own eyes. We were like, it's popping up on some fucking LimeWire, LimeWire was basically your computer having unprotected sex with the internet.
Yeah,
I mean, LimeWire just fucked with your fucking computer. Kazaa as well. I mean,
unprotected sex.
These were like the $5 whores of the internet.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna get some product out of you. You open up some 700 meg file, which would be a copy of fucking Jet Li's The One, and you're like, no, dude, it's fucking some virus that gives you fucking porn pop-ups. People these days don't get it, man, because like
they got no idea.
Computers all ship with built-in antivirus now. Windows Defender works fine.
Yeah.
Like, we don't realize that we have cured internet AIDS basically. There's no such thing as internet AIDS anymore. There used to be internet AIDS. Like some computers, like you'd open up someone's Internet Explorer. This is like the late 90s or early 2000s. You'd open up someone's computer and their web browser would have like 5 rows of fucking add-ons which had been inadvertently installed, and you'd just be like, hang on, I can't even see what I'm trying to browse here.
Yeah, my parents are the same. I think my dad got into downloading torrents. I showed him how to do torrents. And I came on the computer, he's like, oh, I need help with the computer. I'm like, oh, I came downstairs, open up the computer, and it's like, straight away pops up to porn. Like porn pop-ups. I'm like, I'm like, what's this? He's like, I don't know, it's just like, I'm trying to download a torrent. I'm like,
you're
got
getting
some
tricked, man.
spyware shit in here, man. What are you doing? What are you clicking on, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you clicking on, man?
Well, you know what?
Rookie mistake.
That total random thought here is, I think internet education, or computer, in the curriculum where they teach kids how to use computers.
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to be some real practical learning on how to navigate the internet, not just how to look up shit, like how to navigate.
Yeah.
Like common ways of being tricked into installing something, common things that you should avoid, red flags.
Yeah.
When you get an email, all these things, because kids are using computers and phones and shit at such a young age, and sometimes they're borrowing their parents' phone, and the phone has like all the credit card details pre-logged into it. Like they can make mistakes real easy, and so it's not just on schools; it's on parents as well. It's more important now than ever. They need to teach their kids how to use computers, because for us, we're pretty old now. Computers came in, like the internet became a big thing when we were already old enough to try and know better. And even then, I used to fuck up my computer all the time by accident,
Yeah, I think.
And our parents didn't know. How could our parents have known? It didn't exist.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But I also think it's kind of part of the course now. Like kids are being programmed with whatever's on their phone, man. They can't escape anything these days, man.
Snapchat these days. That's propaganda, man.
Yeah, Snapchat's.
Why you should send that risky text? Why would you have articles like that being beamed at 13-year-olds?
Just to clarify, Snapchat has a component of their. They updated it. So it used to just be to send funny pictures and shit to each other, but now they've updated it.
Yeah.
Where essentially like there's a discover page that you click on to look at anyone's story.
Yeah.
and it's just degenerate stuff that they're posting to kids. Like my got younger siblings that are like under the age of 15 that are like reading articles about how to please your partner and what drugs you should do, and like just things that is not right for developing minds to be looking at. It's messed up, man. It's not right.
It is. But
that's the filter of what they're doing. So I'm saying, I don't know, like, yeah, it's great we give these kids education, but if corporate interests have a way to like sell you products about what you should be doing and looking at, then it's going to filter through.
The internet has become like TV in a way, or it's become like the way broadcast television was about 20 years ago.
Like 3 or 4 channels.
Well, yeah, it's these a few channels that are absolutely dominating all the traffic.
Exactly.
I think that's not the original intention of the internet and the way it's meant. You were meant to share information and learn. Nowadays, it's like drinking Coke or Pepsi. Now it's like you got Facebook, you got Insta, you got like it dominates all the traffic. Like Netflix during prime time. Is about 30%, I think, of USA's total bandwidth at prime time. That means 30% of all internet data is just Netflix at prime time in America. And that statistic was from like a year or so ago. I mean, you think about that. It's just a few players who dominate. Like Twitter dominates public discourse in a way. YouTube dominates video hosting and streaming.
It does.
It didn't used to. We remember a time when there were so many competing platforms.
Wild West.
It was the Wild West. And that had its pros and cons.
Newgrounds, YouTube, everything, man. Google.
And what happens is we've got people a few organizations who control what is being told to people. I mean, they can moderate according to their own ideology. And, it's their business. I mean, it's their right to choose how they do things. That's the freedom of doing business. It's true. But that comes back to what people in business have always talked about, the danger of monopolies.
Yeah.
It's just now it's being applied to the internet. There's a danger of all these monopolies, and it's affecting, what people are being told, the kind of news that they get, what we're allowed to say, I mean, we're free to say what we want on the street. We have free speech. But when these big platforms that dominate discourse, that dominate what's being published, and they get to choose on their platforms because they're so large and take up so much of the market, or virtual monopolies. It's the danger of monopolies. We've always known about, they've always known about the danger of monopolies in any industry or any business, any market,
Yeah, you're right.
It's manifesting itself.
It is a danger of monopolies. These, and I really foresee this. It's really interesting just thinking about it and examining it, because you're having these cases of people being, banned off different topics, different platforms, and it's a whole public company or private company versus the government or the individual user, right? And if you ban people from certain things, they're not going to be able to communicate on that. Well, they can communicate on different things they're not banned from, kind of like Alex Jones. Like he can have his own websites, but he can't be on any of the major websites at all.
The guy's banned on PayPal, though. That's fucking ridiculous.
He's fucked, right? And this is what it comes down to. This is literally. What's really funny is it's kind of like how Cyberpunk's predicted it. It's the corporations versus the governments. The corporate interests have become so high. Exactly. You want to sell products. You want to keep a certain ethic throughout society about what you want to control and what you want people to see and do.
That's right.
It actually becomes against the users themselves.
That's right. But when you think about the old literature, like cyberpunk literature, the way they portrayed corporate interests dominating over governments, and how that would have its own adverse effects. I mean, they portrayed it as your old school conservative capitalist mentality. There was always going to be these guys who were just out to make a profit and don't give a fuck about human life and all that sort of stuff. But what I'm seeing is you got these monopolies, these tech monopolies, which are left-leaning, and it's more to do with their own twisted sense of what is social justice. It has less to do with profit-seeking, but it still has all those similar adverse effects where they can circumvent. I mean,
I still think it is maybe not at the highest core. It's capitalism, but the core tenet is still like, hey, like this is the way you should think, interact, and be, so you can buy these products. They kind of go hand in hand to some degree.
Well, it's like we want to make a profit, but we want you to be left.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's still some capitalism involved in that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the danger of monopolies because they're not living in the
real world.
Well, yeah, I remember reading this study about how. If you run a business in a traditional market that has a lot of competition, your business owners will eventually start to have a very conservative viewpoint, at least fiscally, or at least from a financial point of view. Whereas if you're the type of business that's been launched into a sudden monopoly or sudden prominence, that's when you get these weird ideologies or these other type of left or strong. It's not just left, even though tech is leaning left. It's just strong ideologies that manifest into their decision making because they've suddenly made a lot of money. There's suddenly a lot of prominence. They haven't had to deal with too many realities. Now they are because there's so many problems keep fucking popping up. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how things evolve. But yeah, it's the fact it's simply put as they just haven't been dealing with as much reality.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Cool. And then I think we've got one more current news item, which is about a billionaire from Israel. Just putting his name here. So it's diamond trading. Sorry, he's a diamond trading tycoon billionaire from Israel.
Ehud Aryeh. I don't know how to say that.
Lanyadoo. He was 65 years old and he had a surgery where he passed away. Except the surgery was for a penis enlargement.
So, you know, it's real unfortunate for him. You know, tycoon at 65 years old. Passed away suffering a heart attack in the middle of a penis augmentation.
Penis augmentation. One man who wants it all.
It's a real tragedy. But it turns out that billions of dollars can't escape biology.
No, I can't.
No, you know. But it just makes me think. He's been a billionaire for a while now, and at 65, it's like, why now?
Because the man's got everything.
Yeah,
he's got the women, the cars, the money, the Mercedes, everything, man. Yeah. Now he's got like, oh, well, I've got everything. Well, I guess I can make my dick a bit fatter.
I was like, yeah. Well, you know what he was trying to do, right? I think he's getting a bit old. He's getting tired, right? He's 65. A lot of people retire at that age. He's just trying to leverage that big dick energy. He's just like, all right. He's got the big dick energy. Just like, so look, you're really old now. You know, a lot of men aren't even having sex at your age. Why do you want penis augmentation? It's like, dude, man, just want that big dick energy. Oh shit. Yeah. So I mean, it was anesthetic. There's three sort of likely explanations for what happened. One is that, you know, they gave him general anesthesia, so he might have had a pre-existing heart condition that got exacerbated.
Yeah.
The other one is that they improperly administered a dose of local anesthesia. So you meant to inject it into skin and fat, but if you inject it into a blood vessel, that can stop the heart. Now you think about it, your dick is just a big veiny blood vessel. It's just like, yeah, just dodge all those vessels, man. I'm just throbbing, bro. I'm like, oh, I'm just fucking. Look, I'm throbbing right now, right? You can see all the fucking veins, man. Don't hit those veins. And the third possibility is an accidental overdose. So a little Michael Jackson issue. Yeah. Michael Jackson situation there.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, if you're a billionaire, all right, you don't need big dick energy, all right? You got big wallet energy, all right?
Big wallet energy is big energy.
I don't understand it, you know? You don't need a big dick.
There's obviously some insecurity mixed in there. You don't need to fucking enlarge your dick. Some sort of silicone implants. It must be like, also like he'd be with the women of the night, you know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, you got a small dick.
It's like, well, fuck you, bitch, I'm a billionaire.
Exactly, I'll buy another one, you rich motherfucker.
Yeah. I'll pay you an extra $1,000 if you suck my micro penis.
Maybe he had a micro penis.
He might have had a
really small dick, eh?
Yeah.
It might be part.
Which would have made it even harder to dodge all those vessels, man.
He injects so much shit into it, just his heart's just like, oh, I can't cope with this.
We shouldn't laugh too much, but it's just funny. It's just funny when a billionaire dies.
No, we should laugh. It's fucking funny.
Yeah, no, you don't. Maybe we subconsciously.
Do you want that to be your obituary, man?
No, man. It's like he died during a penis augmentation.
Yeah, 65-year-old billionaire, diamond tycoon billionaire.
It's a man who had it all, except he wasn't hung like a donkey like he wanted.
Can you imagine being at that funeral though?
Yeah, I know. It's like, we are gathered here today
to welcome the man from Israel to heaven.
My father was a flawed man. He may not have had a big penis, but he had a big heart.
No, he didn't have a big heart. His heart died, bro. He had big diamonds. My dad had big ass diamonds, tiny little dick.
Yeah. Oh, that's all I'm gonna say is that something as drastic as penis augmentation, it's not for the weak of heart, bro.
You can't buy love, but you can buy death.
Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. Well, I think that's us for the day, man. That was pretty good. Man. That was pretty good. So that's...
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. That's Eric and Kain signing off. Let's get KFC on it.
I'm fucking hungry.
Fucking A.